Hello, Jane Keogh. I wanted to catch up with you because it's been a couple of weeks now since you've been back from a 7-day retreat studying the work of Grigori Grabovoi in the New Russian Knowledge. And I wanted to find out, first of all, what was it that attracted you to the work of the New Russian Knowledge, given that you have quite a substantial amount of training in the personal development coaching kind of space, because you are a business coach. So what was it that attracted you to New Russian Knowledge, Jane?
Gosh, that's a $1 million question. I think it's a really difficult question to answer because I didn't at the time think that I was actually looking for anything. And then you guys ran the first call I think that you ran, and something made me jump on that call. And then from therein, I was hooked. It was like, okay, when's the next thing? And I was really curious and interested to learn more about a different sort of toolbox that actually wasn't just about helping oneself, but actually helps the world as well.
So that was the hook for you. That
I
was
think
what
that
really
was
got
the
you.
hook. I think that was the hook because I think there's so much suffering in the world, and there's me in my business, and it's like, how can I affect more people in a positive way, and how can I reach them? And so it sort of kind of makes sense that through raising your consciousness, you can actually reach more people in a different way, to a way that I'd perhaps considered before.
Okay, so you've been studying it really a little while, and you had been up until you went on the retreat. I wondered, of what value do you think it was being there for a whole 7 days and being in full immersion?
I personally think that residential courses are the best kind of courses because, like you say, you immerse yourself completely into the
Mm.
environment and you see the changes and feel the changes going on around you. And you can really ask and discuss, or ask questions and discuss things if you haven't understood. And I just think it has so much more impact, actually, to be in that whole environment and literally have no interference from the outside world. There was no TV. Well, you could have got TV if you wanted to on your iPad, but you just didn't feel the need for that. And I really, really enjoyed that. I just liked the idea that I was around like-minded people on a journey. Some of us weren't entirely sure what the journey was, but I just it just felt really, really good. You could see the change in people's um, bodies, in their faces, in the atmosphere itself. Humor was something that was definitely heightened, and people keep on saying that to me now. Oh, you seem funnier than you were before. So I don't know if I really answered that question because it's a difficult question to answer because everybody has different experiences, don't they?
So tell me a little bit more about your experiences since you've been back. You touched on there that you feel, or people are noticing, that you're more humorous.
Yeah, I think I've lightened up, if that's by dealing with whatever I've been dealing with, because I've been quite methodical in terms of, since I've been back, I didn't want to just sort of shove my notes in the drawer and forget all about it. I really want to work with these tools and with these number sequences and see the results in myself so that,
Mm.
other people will get the ripple effect, so to speak. So I've been through my notes, I've been through the manual, I've sort of been doing regular processes with myself on every day. And I do notice when I'm late doing them or I've missed something out, I do notice a difference. I've been working on my teeth using plasmoids, and I had this kind of really weird sensation going on in my mouth, a little bit like an ache, but that nice ache, the ache that like you've done a workout and suddenly
Mhm.
your body's
Mhm.
aching and muscles, and you think, oh
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good ache because something is happening.
Mhm.
My body is firming up, and the same thing with my teeth. Um, I've just noticed various things like I've been using some number sequences financial stuff, and things show up in different ways. No euro millions or anything like that, but certainly little signs of pots that I hadn't realised were due or were there even. So yeah, that's kind of interesting.
So with these little shifts going on inside you, what are you noticing about the people or the circumstances around you? What is changing around you? Because as you change, everything else has to change.
I've always been very sensitive and I've always been very intuitive, but I think that's heightened, definitely heightened. And I am very aware that I have to use shields to protect myself from getting too drawn into other people's stuff. Um, I, I, I think that we were discussing on the course about the whole accepting but not finding it acceptable. Like the situation in the world is frustrating to say the least, and there's a lot of pain and a lot of anger and a lot of violence, and there's some dreadful deeds that are happening. And I kind of accept that that is what it is, but I don't find it acceptable, if that makes sense. Probably someone listening to this, they probably think that's a load of mumbo jumbo, but it's kind of like, okay, I have a different way of going about it now. I can change this by doing stuff in a different way, not go out on the streets and sort of like have loud protests and create more violence and anger, but actually raising my vibration and making the changes in me will have that ripple effect.
And so that's sounding quite empowering.
Yeah. In fact, I don't even know what I've just said, but hopefully it will make sense to someone.
Well, in a chat we had recently, you did tell me that you had this sense of, and I'm not going to describe it as well as you did, but this sense of, it's almost like you being picked up and put down again, and you're not quite sure where you're going, but it feels okay. It feels safe to be in a new space. Do you want to say a little bit more about that?
Yeah. It does feel, there's a lot of unknown stuff. I mean, and there was a lot of unknown stuff before. Whereas before I might have wasted a lot of time and energy worrying about the what ifs and hows and everything else. I feel like I've been sort of like lifted off, or maybe I have, lifted off a matrix and put into another one. And now I just kind of think, well, I just trust and have faith that things are going to turn up just the way they should be turning up. And there have been a couple of opportunities that have happened. I'm doing an event in a couple of weeks' time where I'm speaking at a conference. And, it's kind of like, wow, I hadn't expected that to happen. So, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time and hadn't really done anything about. Well, I had, but I'd forgotten about it. I did a free talk for a women's group here in Yorkshire. And someone was in the audience and contacted me and said, oh, I wonder if you'd be interested in doing the after lunch slot. So, but it's just nice to have things turn up, and life has a habit of turning up with unexpected things from time to time. And when they do, not actually thinking, oh my God, my world's falling apart. I don't know why this is happening, but it's happening. And actually I don't feel at all worried about it, and just sort of like go with the flow. I suppose that's what all it's about.
Okay, so what I'm sensing is there's an ease within yourself. There's like more a sense of trust, perhaps trust in the universe, that everything will be just fine. It feels like, and actually other people have said to me, I don't know if you're feeling this, but there's almost a sense of detached activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. A lot of sense.
It's like almost, it doesn't almost really matter which path you go down because you're going to be okay anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, I'm quite excited about all sorts of things that I don't even know are there, but I'm sensing
And this comes from your heightened sense of intuition. Yes, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed just my interaction with people feels more meaningful even though I wasn't aware I wasn't particularly meaningful before. Maybe it's not even that, but maybe the connection is stronger. I mean, my husband says I'm much, much, much more relaxed, although I was fairly relaxed before. So hey ho, might be horizontal soon. My humour has heightened, and a lot of people have said that. They say, oh, you seem, you're quicker, you're much quicker, in the responses, and they come out right. So yeah, I guess generally speaking, more relaxed overall.
So I'm wondering, because you are a business coach, a well-established business coach in Yorkshire, very successful, I'm wondering how you might see yourself bringing this into your work, because there is an element of it, of the teachings, of Grabovoi's teachings, which are pertinent to business. So, and I know you've studied that a little bit, so I wonder how you might integrate that.
Yeah, we did a couple of days around business in the course, which was really, really useful. I think for now I'm focusing mainly on learning it for myself, and that's what was recommended that we did. But I do use part of it, there's some processes that we can do to clear negative information from a room or from a situation. So I'm using it in that sense so that the client gets the best possible outcome for them in the sessions that they have with me. And I've had a couple of clients come back to me and say, I don't know what you did in that session, but I am feeling very different, and all I can do is can't thank you enough. So I'm feeling that I'm not consciously driving these tools with my clients yet, but somehow it is having an impact on them.
Okay, so is what I'm hearing that you just being you are effecting change?
Yeah, I think, because actually, and I think a lot of people might resonate with this. There are parts, or there may have been times in your life where you didn't feel your authentic self, and you wondered who you were. You were on a journey to find out who you were, what your purpose was, all that kind of stuff. And we may even still be, to a certain extent, doing that. And I feel really that I am. It's like my skin suddenly fits. Imagine that we've got a wetsuit style skin, and before it was flapping about a little bit, and the feet weren't quite in the right position, a bit like big flippers, and I was tripping over them all the time and stuff. And it now seems like it's suddenly, I've just made a couple of adjustments, and now the suit actually fits and everything's really nice and comfortable.
Yeah, and when your clothes fit really well and you feel good about yourself, it's so much easier to show up as your true self, doesn't it? Isn't it, in the world?
Yeah, exactly. And I was saying earlier to Mel, funnily enough, that I realised over the weekend that I spent my younger years focusing very much on my image, my body, fitness, running, that kind of stuff. And then just before my 40th birthday, realised that a big change was going to have to happen in my life, and started to do a lot of self-discovery and a journey of, self-development and personal development to find out who I was, because I'd been all these different people for all the people in my life. And over the weekend, I realised that actually I've turned the other way, the balance the other way, and have been solely focusing on the head stuff and the personal development. But actually, it was time now to integrate the body and the mind, because actually the body is the vessel. And so to be able to portray that even better, I have to connect the two things now. So, so that's what I'm in process of doing.
A very holistic approach.
Yeah, but it's kind of, you always hear, don't you, that your thoughts can create your reality. And I just want to give myself and my clients every opportunity of having the best of me and me of myself. And I just feel full of energy, and that to deliver more of this kind of work to more people, then I have to be the best version of me.
Well, you're a pretty good version of you, Jane, I have to say.
Thank you.
So, lastly, just let me ask you this question. If other people are watching our little chat and have some issues in their lives, perhaps health or emotional issues or business issues, what would your advice to be to them if they were thinking about studying the new Russian knowledge with us?
I would say that obviously they have to make their own mind up. So don't take it from me, but hop on the webinars and the calls and start to see if it calls them in the way that it called me and the others, 33 people who attended the last course. But certainly, they say it finds you, and that's absolutely true. It finds you. But the fact that there are things that we can do to change ourselves through health, and through any problems or areas of our lives that we're unhappy with, then it's got to be worth at least starting to investigate it and learn a little bit about it.
So it's about becoming more aware, isn't it? Opening up your awareness.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moaning and there's a lot of complaining out there, and the Brits are known for their whinging and their oh, life is so bad, blah 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 blah, and we have to be the change that we want to see in the world around us. It starts within, doesn't it?
It does, and it's an amazing, magical journey. And thank you, Jane, for hopping on board with us.
Well, thank you for being there and for being in my life, because gosh, it's been quite a journey the last few years, hasn't it?
Yes, we've known each other a little bit, and I think your clients up there in Yorkshire and surrounding districts are very lucky to have someone like you in their midst to support them through change. Thank you, Jane. We'll speak again. Take care.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.